How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Salvage Auto Rebuilds, where today, as you can see, we have got yet another vehicle in our yard. So this car has been donated to me by a viewer. So yes, the viewer, big shout out to him. We are going to call him the owner of, or the proud owner of two Simpson S50s, okay? So I take it that's pretty much just his name that he wants to be known as. But I think just to make things a little bit easier for us to just mention him in the future, we're just going to call him Mario. So here we are, guys. This is a 1970s Dodge Challenger, and as you can see, it is quite a bit of a sorry-looking car. It's missing a couple of odd pieces here and there, and I'm pretty sure he said there are some parts in the trunk as well. It's pretty much an abandoned project, and he just didn't really have an interest in it anymore, and he didn't really get to it. So yeah, that is why he gave it to me. So guys, we are going to be having a look at this thing pretty soon, see if we can get it up and running. I'm pretty sure with all the stuff we have on hand, we should manage, because I noticed it's missing a carburetor, and I think some other bits and pieces that are missing are in the trunk here. We'll hopefully be able to get this thing put together and see if it actually runs and drives still. He said it is a running and a driving vehicle. It just obviously doesn't have its wheels anymore. I think those were probably removed for a different project, but luckily we've got ample wheels laying around in our shop. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get something figured out. So guys, today I've got a little bit more news for you guys. So I went a little bit on a spending spree, and I managed to pick myself up a very handy tool for our shop, guys. So there it is. It's a tire changing machine, and I think it's about time we picked one of these up. So it's a funny thing that happened. I was over at the junkyard looking for a replacement fender for the Fury, and I actually found one. And the guy over there, Ray, he actually had the tire mounter as well. So I had to let him come and help me put it into the shop, because it's a little bit heavy. Now, I've got the move tool here, but I didn't have it when I was back at the junkyard. So yeah, when I picked up the fender, I actually traded in a couple of other parts we had laying around, which I wasn't really going to use anytime soon. So I figured we'll just get rid of it. So that is in fact the fender, the front panel, and the hood that we had for a Lada. So yeah, we ended up getting this fender pretty much free of charge, just by trading in those parts. And also, yeah, we obviously had to pay for the tire mounting machine, which is not too bad. I only paid $2,500 for this thing. So here it is, and hopefully it's going to be a very vital piece of equipment we are going to be using around the shop. So as you can see, I couldn't wait to test this thing out. So I actually bought some new tires for our pickup truck, which we are going to be mounting on the wheels. Probably a little bit later on, we'll give this thing a little bit of a test and see how it goes and how it works. So I bought a total of 6 tires. So we're going to be replacing, well, 5 tires, obviously. Yeah, not 6. I don't know why I said 6, but yeah, 5 tires. So we are going to be replacing even the spare tire. And that way, this old truck of ours is going to have some brand new tires, and also a very good spare tire, which I think will be great. And yeah, we are also hoping to get to the truck today, because as you guys know, I've been hinting at trying to get our truck looking a little bit better, and I think today is going to be the day we are going to be finally getting to the truck, unless if something really, really bad happens, or if anything else comes up beforehand. But yeah, we've got a little bit of work to take care of on the 1978 Fury, Brian's car. So I wanted to paint this car in its base coat, but then I decided against it, guys. We are just going to get this thing sent over to the service center, because I think the service center is going to do a little bit of a better job on this thing's paint job. And we also did manage to figure out the color code on this thing, well, on the engine. So the engine color is the color that the car is going to be painted. It's kind of I think it's going to be a little bit of a change of scenery from the white that the car was. So yeah, I think that is going to definitely improve the look of this car. But for now, I think let's start with this fender. I want to see if I can get the fender mounted. And then what my plan is, I want to see if I can get this car pushed over there onto our two-post lift. Well, scissor lift. We don't have a two-post lift yet, which is something I am having a look at getting as well pretty soon. So yeah, I think hopefully we'll find something, and that is going to just make our work a little bit easier around here when we need to work on car suspension. But for the time being, that is what we've got, and that is what we're going to have to use. So going to try and push the car here, and we are going to dig into the suspension work and see if the suspension is any good. So the only thing I'm going to do paint wise today is just prime this fender as well, and we also need to get it welded back into place, which I just hope our welding machine is still, I think we've still got we still got some wire spool and everything, so we should be able to do this. Okay, so let's whoa, okay, what is this thing doing? Let me just handle with care, you know, take it easy. Alright, so let's bring this over because we need to weld the fender back in place, and also it's bolted down. So talk about overkill mounting your fender on a car. But okay, so we've got a weld over here and a weld over there, and just like that the fender should not fall off anymore. But obviously, to keep it from rattling, we are going to be bolting it down as it should be, and I think that way this thing will be nice and secure. And this actually sorts out all of the bodywork on this car, and well, except for the paint job, which is going to be handled professionally by the service center. So I was thinking of mounting the engine and getting the car up and running, but we don't really have any more other parts laying around. So yeah, we're going to definitely be getting the engine put back in the car and send it over there. So all of the other parts, I actually sent them in for its refurbishing, I guess we can call it that by now, or I don't know what else to call, but yeah, they pretty much are going to be just fixing up all of the bright work, the chrome, the trim, and getting everything sorted for us. And it's the very same guy who's been doing all of our chrome plating for us. So what we need to do now is I need to grab the air compressor from inside the room, because we are going to need that along with the spray gun. Where's the big one? Over here. All right, let's bring this out. All right, so we are going to be spray painting that fender up in primer as well. And yeah, where did I put the tools? Oh, it's all the way over here. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the spray gun. Again, we need to get some primer mounted into this thing. Luckily, I still do have some primer over here. It's not a whole lot, but I think it should be enough for a fender. And that way, that will at least be sorted. So, come on, there we go. All right, and let's go ahead and get this sorted out and just prime it up. All right, there we go. Looking pretty good so far. Now at least the car is going to be, well, pretty much one color, although it's only primer. I just think it looks a little bit better at least. And just like that, I think this fender is now, yeah, primed up. So it is looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to give this thing a little bit of time to cure before we try and move the car, because obviously we need to push it a little bit back and forth and get it lined up with the the scissor lift. I keep wanting to call it a two-post lift, guys. I don't know why. But yeah, okay, so let's quickly just sort out this. Can put this back into the drawer over there. And then what I think we are going to do first of all is I want to see if we can get this thing put together. So let's maybe unpack all of the stuff in the trunk here and see what we've got to work with. All right, so we've got one wheel, which may have been the spare tire for the car. I don't know. But the tire is definitely shot on that. Okay, and there's the air filter itself. We've got the housing over here. All right, and what else do we have here? That's an alternator, which is a little bit banged up. Yeah, I don't think the alternator will work anymore, but I guess it's what we got at the moment, so we'll go ahead and put that on. So looking at the back of the car, we are missing just a rear bumper, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like everything else is pretty much there. Okay, on the interior, we've got a missing door panel over here. Steering wheel is gone. What else are we short of here? Okay, there's a rear seat missing, and also that rear right panel is also missing. And Okay, well, don't see anything else really missing, but we'll just investigate it a little bit further here. Alright, so as I said, the carburetor is missing. So luckily, we do have this one, which came off of our Camaro. When I ordered the new parts, I just went with a stock carburetor for the Camaro, which left off with this backup carburetor, which is great. So let's grab ourselves a wrench. Alright, so we've got ourselves a wrench from our toolbox, and we're just going to zip down this carburetor and just make sure it's tightened all the way down, just to give this engine the best fighting chance that it can have. I'm doubtful it's going to run very well, but we never know. So let's see if we can get the air cleaner onto here. No use in starting it up without the air cleaner. Don't want to end up causing unnecessary damage to the already terrible engine that came with this car, because it's definitely in need of quite a bit of work. But my goal is to just see if this thing actually runs and drives still, and if we can get it up and running. We'll just put on the alternator for, well, just for now, because I mean we've got it. So I don't know if it's going to work so well, but there's only one way to find out, and that is to try and get it mounted. Do we have... Yeah, we've got a fuel line on here, and it's looking kind of tired, but hopefully it still works. Okay, let's just grab this fan belt, the alternator belt, put that on there. Alright, so I think the next thing I'm going to do is probably get some wheels mounted on the car. We've got... yeah, just looking at suspension real quick. This corner doesn't look terrible. We've got some rusty arms and such, and I think for wheels... Alright, I don't know if these are going to be the wheels that I want to put on the car really, but I think for now these are going to be the best fit for the time being. Although the tires are a little bit small, I think it should be fine for now. We'll just see if we can at least get this thing mobile, and I think this should do the trick. Alright, let's get some wheels on here. Okay, well, before we put this one on, let's just do a little bit of an inspection here on this corner. We've got a... everything looks kind of good on this side. The hub is a little bit busted, but brake lines... Yeah, I didn't check the front wheels brake line. I just wanted to make sure that those are in fact tightened up. You know, that's a problem when you're taking over a project from somebody. You don't know how far they have gone with stripping the thing yet, or what bolts are loose. So it's always a bit of a gamble, you know, trying to drive a car and you don't know if all of the bolts are tightened up yet. So I guess we'll just see. Let's have a look over here on this corner first. Okay, this side actually looks a little bit better. We've got a busted hub and hub carrier by the looks of it. Yeah, it's not the terriblest thing to have. We've got a busted torsion bar now. Unfortunately, I don't have torsion bars laying around, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I'm pretty sure it will be fine. And you can also clearly see we are missing a fender over here, which I will be able to find over at the junkyard most probably. And we've also got a mismatched fender on this side, which is a little bit odd. I don't know. It's as if they took the good fender off and put a rusty one on in its place. I don't know how to... Or maybe the car was in a prank and they fixed it up, and... I don't know, that wouldn't explain why the hood is still the same color as the car, but yeah, I don't know what the history of the car is, but yeah, I don't know, maybe that fender was just rusted, all the way gone, and they found this one which is less rusted and they put that on. We're also missing some headlights over here, which is not a big problem. We can find headlights. And then I think the last wheel, let's grab it here real quick and get it onto the car. Alright, let's have a look at this corner first before we do it. Okay, so once again, busted hub, busted shock absorber. I noticed the differential is also not looking too hot. And this leaf spring has collapsed. So I think, wait a second, let me just check something. I think we might still have one of the old leaf springs under here. I think so, yeah. There it is. So this is a leaf spring that came off of a vehicle that we worked on a while ago. I think it was a Dodge Coronet. So I'm pretty sure this will also fit on the Challenger. Let's quickly have a look at it and see if it's the same. Okay, let's get under here. We'll loosen up there. Now, I don't know what the exact condition is of the opposite side's leaf spring, but at least it's looking a little bit better than the one that was on this side. So, yeah, things actually work out kind of well, because so far we've found a carburetor. And I'm pretty sure we also have got a steering wheel to make the car drive. And that is going to hopefully sort that out for us. Okay, so there's the last wheel. And you'll notice I'm only just bolting down 3 bolts, because yeah, things are just temporarily mounted, and this can probably go into the trash. So yeah, not too concerned about that. Alright, so now the car should actually be able to stand on its own 4 wheels. I just quickly want to see if we can get the steering wheel, because I know we've got a steering wheel. It's this one over here, which is actually for the Lada, because I think the Lada sedan steering wheel replaced with a sports one that came off of our other customer's Mercedes a while back. So yeah, if we get this one mounted, hopefully it fits, which it does, so that'll work. And whoa, okay, I just noticed we are also missing pedals. And you know what? Good thing I hang on to these parts, because I do know that we do have got some pedals. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so we've got some pedals as well. Okay, I think I may have forgotten something under the hood. Let me just check one more thing. I'm not too sure if this car's gonna have a battery in it, so let's just check it. Yeah, obviously a battery's missing. Okay. Alright, well, let's maybe see. Well, would you look at this? We've got an old battery sitting inside the shop as well, which is great, because this will at least start the car if the car is going to be running. Okay, so there we are. That is now kind of put together, so this car should run and drive now, according to Mario. Alright, so let's go and grab the floor jack from here. Okay, so let's get our floor jack right over here and just get this thing off the jack stands once again. Here we go. Lift it up a little bit. Right, pop this one off. Just put it over there. Okay, so yeah, when the guy dropped the car off, it actually came here on a flatbed, and yeah, it didn't have any wheels, so we had to like improvise a little bit and get it sliding down. And then yeah, I actually told them let's put some jack stands under it as we brought it down off the flatbed. And that is where our jack stands ended up. So now, guys, I'm actually thinking about another thing here. Since I'm going to be changing tires on the truck, maybe we should leave the Plymouth Fury right where it is and maybe strip it on jack stands, because we haven't done that, well, ever. So let's work on the suspension while the car's up on jack stands, because I want to change the tires on the truck, and I think our scissor lift's going to be the only way to do that. So that might be a little bit of a solution for today. Okay, so let's get these over here, where we are going to be using them a little bit later on. So I think for now, let me firstly see if this car is in fact a runner and driver. Okay, so we're going to need to just hop in and try and turn the key and see what happens. Alright, so let's see. Now we are gonna probably crank a little bit extra long, because the carburetor we just recently put on. Okay, let's get some fuel up to the engine. Come on. There we go. Alright, well, that took a hot minute to start. Let's just try it again. Alright, come on. Let's pump the gas a bit. Alright, well, so she does take a little bit of time to start now, guys. That might also be some other issues in the engine. But, well, we've got ourselves a sort of running and kind of driving car. Now, I didn't check the brake hoses on this driver's side, but brakes do seem to work. So I don't want to go too crazy with this thing, but let's take it for a little bit of a rip, first of all. And luckily we do have got the handbrake if the brakes fail. Handbrake does work, which we already tested. Okay, so It feels kind of weird because the car's leaning over to the left because of that bad torsion bar and it's pulling to the left. I have to like kind of just keep counter steering it a little bit to keep it straight, but it's not running too bad. Brakes are good. Alright. Alright, come on. Don't die on us. Yeah, she's struggling a bit, guys. Alright, well, I think now since this car is at least running and driving, we can probably just put it in a parking space over here. So let's see if we can reverse it in here. Alright, I think that is fine. Right over there should do the trick. Alright, so yeah, I don't really know what my plans are yet for this car. It's been just since I got it, I thought, well, hey, it's a free car. Let's see if we can get it running first, and then we'll decide what's happening. And it does kind of look a little bit odd with the blue wheels that we've got on it, and you know, the whole mismatched fender and all that. But I think it's going to turn out to be a pretty decent little car, and I've got some ideas already what I might want to do with it now, just by looking at it. It's actually not a bad color, this green. But alright, so let's carry on with our work for today, guys. So I'm going to try and see if we can get all of our tires off the truck, because I really want to see what those new tires are going to look like on these wheels. And then what my plans are is I want to see if we can obviously start stripping the box off the truck and taking the rust off of that and getting some dents removed. So I've got a little bit of an idea that I want to try. I don't know if it's going to work, but my plan is I want to paint the inside of the box a different color to the exterior of the box. So I already told you guys I want to paint the truck white. So that is what we are going to try and do. But the inside of the box, I'm thinking of painting it black and not applying clear coat to it. So in essence, what's going to happen is we are going to be painting the whole, well, obviously the whole box on the inside black. The tailgate might have to stay white because, I mean, I don't know if they usually paint the tailgate on the inside if they make it black, but it's going to be a little bit hard to maybe do that. So I don't know. It's going to be a test, guys. I'm going to try it, and if it doesn't work, we are just going to roll with it and paint it white at the end of the day. But yeah, first of all, we need to figure out a couple of things, and I actually parked this thing super skew. I don't know if this lift is going to work like this. Let's maybe just see if it works. I can't see why it won't work. Shouldn't be an issue. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. We just want to take the wheels off. And now that I think about it, let's just lower it back down first. I'm going to go to the other side because I don't want to end up banging the door against the box over there, the control box. Okay, so there's our spare tire. Alright, so I think let's start with this one and give our new machine a little bit of a test run here. Okay, so put that tire on there. Okay, so there's the old one. Okay, well, put the wheel on there, and now we're putting the new tire on and stretch it a little bit over the rim. And yeah, look at that. That looks pretty damn mean if you ask me, guys. It's definitely a little bit of an improvement look-wise. So yeah, I think this is definitely gonna look pretty nice on our truck. Alright, so let's get to it and do it. And as you know, guys, I also have got those wheel spacers, which I actually bought for the Camaro temporarily. So we are going to be mounting these on the truck. So let's get to it and see what it's going to look like. I'm actually quite excited to see how this is going to turn out with the new tires and the spacers, because let's face it, a truck like this, you can always kick the wheels out a little bit, especially now that the truck is at stock ride. It's going to look a whole lot better. And why am I walking up and down carrying these spacers one by one? We've got a perfectly good backpack for it. Alright, so now I need to figure out what I did with the wrench again. I remember now, I put it over here. Okay. Got the wrench. Okay, let's just drop these spacers more or less where they need to be. Okay, and now we need to lift the truck up again. Alright, let's just go up a little bit with it again. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's quickly swap these tires over. Alright, I think we'll do them one at a time, and that way we can also air them up as we do the tires. Alright, so put this one over there. And it actually works out so nicely because now we've got some decent high wall tires for another project which I can put somewhere. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so there we go. That is the first wheel ready to rock and roll. Okay, so let's put it just down somewhere. It doesn't really matter which wheel goes where because they're all the same. Alright, let's go and grab our air compressor. Okay, look at me walking around with my wrench in my hand, which is actually, it's safer if it's in my hand because then it can't get lost, you know. Alright, so let's adjust the pressure down to 2.0 bar, which I think should be sufficient for the truck. We'll see. Alright, let's air these tires up before we put them on the truck. Okay, where's the valve? There it is. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna just air it up to 2 bar. Okay, perfect. Okay, put that back there. And let's grab our first wheel. I want to see what it looks like. Okay, put a spacer on it, first of all, and then we'll get the wheel on. Alright, and let's zip it down. Alright, yeah, I don't know if that's too far, but maybe you guys can let me know in the comment section if you think the spacers are too much, or do you think it's it looks good. So let's give it a proper look there. I don't think that looks too bad. It's not too much. I think it's actually fine, in my personal opinion, but your opinions are also welcome, so do let me know what you think of the wheel spacers, guys. Alright, so there we go. Let's get the next one mounted and just get a good idea of what this is going to look like. Alright, and let's just zip it down. Alright, I think that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, the wheels could have been a little bit bigger, but I think this is the highest profile that we've got available for these rims. So it is pretty much as big as it gets for now, until we eventually upgrade the wheels to bigger ones. And yeah, I don't know if that's something I want to do just yet, or if I need to do it just yet. Okay, so there we go. We've got another old tire, which, yeah, I think I'll just stack it here for now. Okay, let's go ahead and do all of these real quick. Alright, yeah, this is a lot of rinse and repeat now, but you know what? It's part of the job. Alright, now why did I kick this thing over? And it has adjusted a bit. There we go. Okay, so now it's back on 2.0 bar, which is great. Alright, just keep going. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this one is going to go this way. Okay, just get that onto there. And we'll zip it up, zip it up. Alright, that is the... I almost grabbed the wrong wheel. Okay, let's do this one. Alright, so this one is going to be for the front then, I guess. Seeing as the front left wheel or the front right wheel is the last one we're doing, we'll just use that one as a spare then, which doesn't really matter at this point because the steelies are all in the same condition and they all look the same, so doesn't matter which wheel goes where. Alright, let's air this one up all the way to 2.0 bars, and that is done. Alright, perfect. Let's grab it and get it onto this corner. Alrighty, perfect. So now we can get our last wheel on the truck here. Come on, spacer, go on there. Alright, and zip this up over here. There we are. Alright. All the wheels and tires have been changed, and now I just quickly want to do the spare tire as well. Alright, so let's do this. Get that onto here. Alright, and then these we can just chuck on a pile over there. Let's grab this one and just get it mounted. Alright, perfect. And then I'll just air it up as well because there's no point in putting a flat spare tire in the back of your truck. I've been kind of running around with a spare tire, but I don't really have a jack and a wheel spanner, well, or a wrench or anything for that matter with me, or a toolbox. So I'm thinking of eventually buying a toolbox that I can carry around in the truck, similar to the one Uncle Bill has got back at home. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, there's actually a very nice spot here behind the seat for the wheel, because there's actually supposed to be a bench back there, but in my opinion, I don't think we really need a bench back there, guys. It's actually a nice little storage space for tools and a jack. And what is the weather doing all of a sudden? Getting a little bit cloudy. Okay, well, hopefully it doesn't start raining, because we did paint a fender recently, but I think it should be fine. Alright guys, so first of all, before we tackle the box on the truck, I just want to move this under the roof in case it starts raining, but hopefully that won't happen. Alright, so we're going to be stripping the suspension off this car and taking the suspension apart and all that, which is a little bit of a repetitive thing that's been going on, but I haven't done it in a while on camera, so I think we're fine to do it again. Alright, let's just get another... Oh, there it is, all the way over here still. Okay, get the other jack stand under it. Okay, so yeah, we are going to be stripping the suspension, going through it, and making sure this thing is going to be put together properly. Oh, come on, Jack, lower down. There we go. Alright, let's go this way, do the same thing on this side, and I think we can actually put the air compressor away as well. Alright, so I did figure out the problem with our sandblaster. Turns out the sand that we had was not really the right sand, so we got all of that exchanged. So I'm happy to tell you guys that the sandblaster is back in action. So if we need this again, we can go ahead and use it. So yeah, that has been sorted out pretty well. Alright, so there we go. Let's get this over here and over there, and then we can lower the car back down onto the jack stands. Perfect. Alright, so let's get to stripping this suspension off. I think it'll be really easy because, yeah, well, let's face it. I think all of the cars have got similar suspension. And as for these wheels, we actually had the old wheels installed because we don't want to mess around with the wheels that came off the car, because those are beautiful chromed ones with some pretty good looking tires. So we didn't want to get any paint on those. Although I tend to usually try and paint carefully so we don't end up painting the wheels too much anyway. Although I didn't do it when the little station wagon was actually, you know, being painted, because the wheels were going to be painted afterwards anyway. Which, yeah, at the time of recording this, the station wagon is still up on auction. So, yeah, I guess we'll only tell you guys how much it's sold for and how much money we are making once I know what's going on with it. But okay, for now, let's focus on business at hand. So we've got, yeah, this caliper over here, which needs to come off first of all. That is going to help loosen up the suspension. So I think let's put the parts, come on, we'll put it over here. Okay, so calipers needs to come off. And, whoa, wait a second. Whoa, okay, I didn't expect that to come off just yet. So that means the cross-member bolts were loose. Okay, very, very interesting. So, Brian, your car had a whole bunch of loose bolts, buddy. Okay, well, we know this by now because the other day when we, well, in the previous episode when we started to take the engine out of the car, we actually noticed there were some bolts loose there as well. So I think it's also more of a being safe than sorry thing, going through all of the bolts and making sure everything is tightened up. This brake disc might still be good, so we'll go ahead and get that removed. We can clearly see the brake hoses over there are bad, so we're not going to bother with those. Okay, so there's the disc. Disc is a little bit worn, so yeah, let's just put it back here so that we don't end up having a whole bunch of bad parts. Okay, this hub carrier can still be reused. These calipers are both going to be replaced anyway, so yeah, I don't think we're going to be taking shortcuts at all on with this vehicle of Brian's, because let's face it, guys, this thing is going to be a classic, and it's got to be put together a little bit better, you know, than just replacing a couple of worn out parts. We're going to be a little bit more thorough with it and make sure this thing is going to be as good as it can be for our buddy Brian. So there we go. We are definitely getting rid of all of these crusty old parts. This one is definitely shot. So yeah, this is our scrap pile. This is our good pile. That disc is actually not bad, so we'll reuse that. Alright, let's see what else we can find off of here. Alright, this tie rod is bad. This tie rod is not the greatest. It's just under the what I would like to call safe condition, or a decent condition. So yeah, there's a very thin line of where I'm going to reuse parts and what I'm going to you know, just rather replace at this stage. So for example, like this front left control arm, lower control arm, you can clearly see it's not that bad. So this is definitely something that's going onto the good pile over there. And so is the strut rod. Now we can go ahead and put this back on here, because yeah, both the parts going together are good. So that is at least a start. Right, the strut rod is also good, and if this control arm on this side is good, we are just going to put it back, but it's not. So this is a part we're going to be replacing again. So yeah, looks like we are not getting a whole lot of decent parts off of this car yet, guys. It's kind of a, you know, 50% chance of having a decent part and having a bad part. So it kind of is what it is at the moment. So come on, let's just get this off of here. Okay, is our steering box, which, yeah, to the untrained eye it looks good, but it is actually bad. The steering link's still good, so that is definitely reusable. Okay, so at least some parts are good on here. Like this steering arm, yet another part we don't have to buy brand new. That's not going to eat into our budget. And as for the cross member itself, yep, that's a little bit too far gone in my personal opinion. Alright, so let's see if we can get these arms off of here. So that means these upper control arm bolts on the hub carrier was actually loose as well, and so were the shocks, seeing as those stayed behind. But this shock is actually good. Alright, well, one good shock, one bad shock. So it's kind of a pattern with this car, you know. Part conditions are all over the place. Alright, let's see. Yep, once again, that arm is also bad. So one good shock absorber from the front. So I think that concludes the front suspension of the car. Now I think what we're going to do, since we are kind of in the stripping mood of things, let's just strip the rest of the stuff off here that can come off. Okay, the wires have seen some better days, which is actually more engine related, but we're going to go through these little nitty gritty stuff as well. Alright, come on. I'm looking for the... Oh, it's back here. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Right, let's get this removed over here. Okay, this is our brake master cylinder, which is actually still good, so this can go ahead and go back in. Alright, so it's actually usually a good idea to take the parts off to inspect them a little bit better. That way we know exactly what we are working with. Alright, so let's come back here. We're going to undo this and the other one. And that will free up our main brake line, which we can also inspect and see that it is in fact good. So that can actually go back in. And I don't know if I'm going to reach it from here. Let's just try it. Okay, looking good. And I actually wanted to take the transmission out as well, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach under the car over here. We might actually, yeah. Just gonna have to try and feel the bolts over here, which is usually a little bit tricky, and I doubt we're gonna see them from here or reach them. Alright. Maybe from this angle. Can kind of guess where the bolts are. Come on, we'll find them all here. Okay, so transmission should be loose now. Which the transmission is actually good. Let's just go ahead and check the starter. This is actually a 5-speed gearbox. Could be that it has been replaced, which it does. Okay, so starter and gearbox is in the same condition, which means they have been replaced already and we don't have to worry about it. Okay, but we are going to be taking the drive shaft off. So let's undo these bolts. Get the drive shaft out from under the car here. Which, okay, let's just take it out from under there. We can actually have a look at this thing. Okay, drive shaft is another good part, which is great. One less part we need to order. Alright, so let's start right at the back of here. We're going to start with... come on, what am I going to do? Let's do the shock absorbers first. Alright, get these shock absorbers off and out of the picture for now. Which this one looks good yet again. It's, as I said, to the untrained eye, it's actually a good shock absorber. But if you definitely have a proper look at it, yeah, then you'll see pretty soon that it's not as good as it looks. Although this one is actually not too bad. So we've got 2 good shock absorbers. One for the front, one for the rear. Yeah, we are definitely winning. Alright, let's get down here again. We're going to take off the bolts on the leaf spring on this side. And I think if that is loose and we do the same on this side, this whole axle will come out now. Let's see what happens. There we go. Alright, it is coming out. Alright, perfect. So there's the rear suspension. And now there's something that I usually always forget to do, guys. Let's just go ahead and do this. So these torsion bars need to come out. So we'll pop them off. And we'll just grab them one at a time and see what they are like. Alright, so how's this one doing? This one is not too bad. Well, it's not too great, actually. Yeah, both of them are actually pretty bad. Not great. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I speak before I think, you know. But there we go. Alright, so that is torsion bars removed. And I think before we continue with stripping this off, taking it apart, we are going to take this leaf spring and the other one off. Okay, if we can just figure out where this bolt is. It's sometimes a bit tricky finding bolts in this thing. And sometimes you can get them easier from the trunk. But in this case we can't, so... Alright, can we see what we are doing here? Alright, I think I've got it. There we go. Alright, that's the one leaf spring, which is actually not the greatest, so... Whoops, okay, well, there it is. Alright, now we're looking for the other bolt on this leaf spring, which I think will be on the outer side. Can't recall now, and would help if I loosen the bolt instead of trying to tighten it. There we go. Alright, now come on, get over here. Alright, this leaf spring is good, so we've got another part for our good parts pile. And yeah, the ratio is definitely not looking pretty good here. So I think it's definitely a good decision taking the whole suspension apart and making sure everything is as good as it can get. Once again, checking parts that seem to be good, but they aren't. Come on, shake it off. There we go. Yeah, brake line is also a bit busted, so it's going to be replaced. You can clearly see the brake caliper on this side is bad, and yeah, that side might be good. So let's check it as well. Okay, this brake caliper is not the greatest, so it's going to go just over there on the pile. Alright, and then this can come off, which is another good part. Okay, and we'll do the same on this side. Just take it off. And that's another good part. Okay, so no new brake discs for the rear axle, at least. Speaking of the rear axle itself, how good is the axle? The axle actually looks decent. I would definitely use the axle again. No need to replace it. It's still kind of in fair condition. Let's just check the differential out, which is actually bad. And this is a 3.8 locked differential. It doesn't make sense having a locked differential in a car like this, really. Because isn't this thing supposed to be a comfort cruiser, you know, like a comfortable car? Because why on earth would you have a locked differential in a four-door sedan, unless if you plan to do drifting with it or, you know, doing weird stuff with it. But okay, yeah, doesn't make sense, but each to their own, I suppose. Okay, so this hub needs to come off, definitely. It's looking kind of bad. Yep, that is toast. And let's just go ahead and check this one as well for good measure. Make sure this thing is looking as good as it is, or, well, is as good as it looks, which it's not. So, once again, proof is in the pudding, as they say. And the axle itself is going to be reused. So, yeah, bad parts versus good parts. Definitely never a winning ratio on the good part side, you know. But it is what it is, guys. Now, we at least strip all of the suspension off. And I wonder if... yeah, I don't know. I can't really mount the engine now because we don't have anything else to mount it to. Because the cross member is not there. And I don't want to have the engine hanging on the gearbox with just the gearbox bolts bolted down. So that is just going to have to wait until we've got the suspension put together, or, well, installed again. So guys, I think what I need to do now is, as I promised, I'm going to start working on the truck a bit. It's definitely due, and what better way to do it than to just dive straight into it once we finished with what we were actually busy with. So I think let's go ahead and get this box removed. So 3 bolts on each side. It's pretty simple. And then the whole bed comes off, and then we can go ahead and cut this thing apart. I think that's going to be the easiest way of doing this. Okay, come on. Let's just get to the last bolt over here. Yep, Murphy's Law. Always struggling a bit with the last one. But okay, we've got it off. And this is the bed. Alright, put it down right here. And I think the first order of business is to use the pressure washer and get this thing cleaned up a little bit, because it is looking a little bit dusty. And it's a good thing I didn't wash the truck the other day, because we actually hit the junkyard, and you all know that is a dirt road. Alright, so where's our pressure washer? Over here. Okay, let's bring this outside. Alright, I think that should be close enough to the tap, and let's blast away some of this dirt. It should actually go pretty easy. Get this thing as looking as good as possible, and yeah, just figure out what we are working with. So as I said, luckily our sandblaster is back in action, so we should be able to utilize that to get rid of all the rust. And yeah, some of this dirt is really stuck on here. Not even the pressure washer is getting it washed off, you know, which is a bit of a problem, because how are we going to clean this thing? Can we see if the hose might actually do it? Yeah, there we go. All right, the hose is definitely working a little bit better. I think the pressure washer is just cutting through the dirt. There we go. We just got to dirt loosen up a bit with some more water. Lower pressure but more water sometimes does the trick, you know. It's strange how that works. One would think that you can blast away the dirt with the pressure washer and it'll just disappear, but that's not always the case. But okay. Alright, so as I said, I'm going to try something with this bed, guys. I've got no idea how it's going to work, but never tried, never failed, or what do they say? You'll never know if you don't try. I think that's more the right way of explaining it. Because if we don't try it, we won't fail at it, but we are going to try it. So if we fail, then at least we know it's going to work or not. So this is our tailgate, which I think what we're going to do as well, we're going to check every single panel we cut off this thing with some Bondo. And that way, by the time we know what is for what, we have got some straight panels, which can be... I don't know if we should really bother priming this thing. Okay, so straight off the bat, I'm going to have some issues doing this when the bed is, or the tailgate is removed. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me. See what is going to work and what is not going to work. So I think let's try and see if we can do it like this now. Yeah, tailgate definitely has got some dings almost everywhere. It's just one of those things you gotta take your time, make sure you get every single inch of it checked over. And I think that is the tailgate done. Okay, so let's open it up again. Oh, come on, just say open. There we are. Okay, got the tailgate off, and that is now... Let's just double check it. Yeah, that is sorted. Okay. So as for the rest of the bed, we are going to need our trusty old plasma cutter here, guys. Going to be chopping the bed up into pieces and just doing one panel at a time, checking it for rust, derusting it. Although, yeah, I know this is usually a struggle if we don't get it done this way. So we're going to try and see how it works. So let's first of all check this panel for some dents. Okay. Alright, there we go. Now we're talking. Yep. Who would have known that this thing has got so many hidden dents on it, guys? Just by taking a little bit of time, going through the whole thing, making sure we get every inch of this thing checked, and yeah, just fill up all the dents with some body filler or Bondo, as you guys may know it as well. And that is the first type of Bondo done, which means this thing is probably a little bit worse than I thought. I might actually check the parts or the next bit of parts with a hammer first before starting to slap Bondo on it. You know, the straighter we can get the panel before applying Bondo, the better. And that's just my personal opinion. Okay, so I think we might have it. That might be it. Okay, so now we're going to tackle this thing with a sandblaster. And now did I... Yeah, I gone and done it. Okay, you know what? We're not going to use primer. I think we're just going to blast this thing with white straight off the bat. So let's get our compressor here. And we are going to grab the sandblaster as well. Right, bring this closer. We do have got a taillight on there, which I need to take off first before we start blasting this thing with sand, you know. Alright, so let's unzip this. Okay, there's the taillight, which is not in terrible condition, but I might actually just replace this, you know. We'll see. I'll decide what I want to do with the truck and how far I want to go with fixing it up. But probably eventually we would want to get this thing back to its pristine condition. That'll be great. It'll be the best for resale value as well, if I ever do decide to get rid of this truck. But I strongly doubt that is going to be anytime soon, because I think this is going to be our tow rig for the future to come, and it's going to be with us until hopefully the end of this series, guys. That'll be great if we could actually just get a vehicle and hang on to it for a bit. Alright, there we go. We've got our rust kind of taken care of here, I think. Let's just make sure there's no more rust. Oh, you see, just like that. Some hiding rust. And now this panel should be ready for a coat of white paint. So yeah, as I said, I'm painting this truck white. Okay, so let's put all the paintable panels that we are going to be painting over there. And then we will just go at it one panel at a time. Make sure we get every single panel sorted. So let's do this one next on the driver's side of the bed. Okay, and chop this weld. And I think this one back here still needs to be done. Yeah, there we go. Alright, outer skin is off on this side as well. Okay, on this one we've got all the trim. Yeah, pretty much all the trim. Alright, so we can actually keep our pry tool handy here as well. Yep, trim is definitely a bit busted, so that is our new junk pile over there. This one, I don't know if I'm gonna really bother with putting trim on the truck, guys. It might actually look good if we just do a trim delete, you know. And as for this panel, I don't see any rust on it, but we are going to double check it now once we get all of the parts off of it. And the fuel door over there should be fine. We can just get that painted up along with this thing. So this is ready for paint, but yeah, let's just check it for dents, because I'm quite skeptical of this panel. Yeah, there we go, as I thought. Also got a bunch of dents almost everywhere. Okay, let's do what I said I'm gonna do. We're gonna grab our hammer, just show if there's any damage for this. Not really, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so well, then I guess body filler it is. Just gotta figure out where the damage is on this. It's probably mostly at the lower part of the body, because as you all know, we hit a couple of bumps and ditches in the road, and that is what ended up causing this damage. So I'm proud to say that panel is ready for paint. Okay, so now we're going to get into some more stripping of the panels of this thing. Okay, so we're going to start with this inner skin. Oh, come on. Can we just get this thing to sit still? Yeah, it's always a bit of a problem with these things once you take them off the truck. Okay, so there we are. Okay, this should free up this outer, well, inner skin, which has got a teeny tiny bit of rust. Nothing too serious, but it's definitely worth getting rid of it. Alright, come on, there we go. Let's blast this rust away as good as we can. Obviously I'm not gonna probably get every single speck of rust off this thing, but we're going to try our best here and see how far we can go with this. And we are out of sand. Okay, so now moment of truth. Do we have the right sand now? Alright, well, I hope so, because this is what Lewis told me. This should be the right sand. So, yeah, there we are. Okay, that is good. Now, as I said, I don't think we're going to get every single speck of rust off this thing. It's just going to be a matter of trying to see if we can get the right angle and also the right position. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit tricky, but we are getting it. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks bad, but it doesn't look terrible. Okay. I think we are safe to call that a win. Okay, so let's grab our body filler again and start working on these dents on this thing, because I think every single panel on this truck still has got some sort of a dent somewhere. And the better we can sort it out, the better it's going to look at the end of the day when we put this thing, or finish this thing up, buttoning it up and getting it sorted. Alright, well. And it's going to be a matter of hunting for the dents. Because we do know there are still some dents here somewhere. I just got to get that sweet spot, which we just found. I think it's more in this corner over here. We might need some more body filler if this keeps it up, you know. But I think we've got this panel sorted as well. Okay, let's drop it over here. Okay, and I just hope, yeah, I can see some thunder, some lightning and thunder. Well, I don't hear thunder yet, but I do see lightning, which is a little bit of a concern if I wanted to paint this part, you know, but not gonna worry about it just yet, guys. We'll see what we do. Yeah, there's definitely a whole lot of damage on here. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Where's the hammer? There it is. Okay. Alright, no damage so we can fix with the hammer. So this means just body filler. I don't see any rust on this panel, which is great. Definitely a good sign. Alright, well, and the hunt begins for some more dents. As I can figure out, this damage seems to be more on the lower parts of the box, because that is kind of where the impact was when we went through that dip on the way to the shop over by the beach. It was quite a couple of episodes ago. I can't really recall how many exactly, but yeah, that happened. That is something that happened, and that's why I changed the shock absorbers, or not the shocks, the leaf springs to stock leaf springs, to just get the truck's ride height a little bit higher. We still got the old springs somewhere, I think. I can actually see them from here through the window. Yeah, I put them on top of the shelf there. Okay, first of all, hammer. Are we going to be able to do anything with the hammer to this? Let's just try. Nope, doesn't look like it. So that means body filler it is. Now, where's the half tub? Come on. Not jump the gun here and use a new tub every time we do something. And I think that is actually it. Yeah, the bed rear panel. So now this is one of the parts I want to paint black. So are these. Okay, let's see how that's going to work out if I paint these black. I'm going to try it. We're going to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is going to be painted white. So we've got white paint and I've ordered some black paint. So we're going to try and see how this is going to work out. And also the same goes for this bed. We are going to paint it black. Okay, no dents for the hammer. Okay, so let's put the hammer back where it belongs and call it a day with the hammer. Okay, so let me sort out the dings and the dents on this bed floor, because I think there's going to be quite a bit, because this is the thing that's, you know, first in the line of fire when we start taking it apart. And, well, or either not taking it apart, but, you know, driving through ditches. It's the first part that gets dings, and I think it's better to sort it out properly. Alright, well, it's definitely dents all over the show here. Yeah, I got a feeling this is going to take a little bit of time sorting this panel out, because it's quite a big panel, and also don't know how far the extent of the damage is, so we just got to keep at this until we don't see any more dents, which is, yeah, going to take some time and careful, you know, checking it out, making sure everything is as good as it can be. I've got a little bit of rust here. Maybe let's take the rust off real quick. And then we can focus a little bit more on getting the Bondo work sorted. There we go. Alright, well, I think that looks good. I doubt that we've got rust around here, but just for good measure, let's give it a bit of a blast over there. Alright, that should be good enough. And let's just continue to see if we can find all of these dings on this thing still. Alright, probably not the best idea walking on the part as we are trying to fix it up, because it might cause more dents on it, but I think it's sorted now, guys, which actually turned out pretty well. Okay, so now we are going to need our spray gun again, because I think we need to quickly shoot these parts with some paint, and then it's going to be a little bit of a cleanup for me to try and sort out the yard here, because I want to try and keep the place neat and tidy, you know. Alright, let's see. This is gonna go into our spray gun. Okay, we messed that up. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, that is good. Alright, where's the compressor? Is it close enough? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright, well, let's grab it and start blasting this thing with black. So my plan is to keep it matte black, almost kind of trying to see if we can make it look like this thing has been Linexed, you know. If you know what Linex is, it's like a, I just call it in well, in the country where I'm from, I call it rubber rising, and hopefully the compressor isn't too loud. So I don't really want to raise my voice too much, but I also don't want to end up being too soft with the compressor running in the background. So let's just see. I'll probably only know in editing if it's working or not. But yeah, the black bed is gonna look nice. I actually think maybe if we even just do this black, it might actually look decent. But I'm going to maybe do this part and the bed sides, and then the front and rear panels can be white. I think that's what we're going to try here and see how it works out. But yeah, this is now painted black, and I really shouldn't be standing on the panel as much. Because yeah, look at that. Now we've got a imperfection over there. Okay. And here. Okay, well, there we go. Alright, so I think let's do this in black as well. And the nice thing is I can actually decide if I want to keep this matte black, which I think I am going to. I'm going to check it out and see if it looks good in matte black. And if it does, we will stick with matte black, I guess. And that is only if I'm going to be able to get all of these nooks and crannies painted with the matte black. And then if we decided to give it a coat of clear, it's going to just make it a little bit of shiny again. Oh, but there we go. That is actually not looking too bad. Actually think it might work out. Okay, just gotta get that all covered up. We don't want any clear coat shining through on this. Okay, well. Alright, that looks decent. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Okay, so that is painted black, and this is also going to be painted black then. Okay, paint it up. Yeah, I don't know how long this can of paint is still going to last. You know, I always do this, guys. It's kind of like I just know, like a sixth sense, when the can is nearly empty. So there we go. That is empty. That can go with the trash over there. I think that's still paint from the that I ordered that was wrong. So we'll just chuck it over there. Okay, let's get this into here, into our spray gun there and there. Okay. All right, and paint it up nicely. Okay, come on. This is taking a little bit longer to cover, but okay. Matte black coming down. There we go. Alright, so this color isn't completely black. It's kind of like an off black, if you know what I mean. It's like I think the color code is 20-20-20 if you guys are interested in trying it for yourselves. I usually tend to go with this color for any matte black whenever I do all sorts of things around the shop or on vehicles. You know, it's actually a nice looking color if you want to go for that matte finish, but don't want it too dark. This is a very good color code, 20-20-20. So that's just 20 times 3, in other words. So there we are. That is our inner panels painted black. So I think that is hopefully going to look good. Now I can't put this thing together before I got all of the panels, you know, primed up and sorted out. So this still has got a thing on here which we need to take off, like a trim, which we'll probably replace if it's not decent, but this one is still decent. So yeah, I think it's good to reuse that. Okay, I should probably also just try and keep it clean as I go. Okay, so we are done with the black paint. And I think I'm just quickly going to see if I can shoot this thing with, well, the rest of the parts with the white here, because we still got some white from the wheels that we painted white on the station wagon. Okay, come on, get in here. What is your story? Yeah, these things are super finicky to get into here, but okay, there we go. Alright, and now we're just going to blast this with white. And look at all that coverage. I'm not going to bother if there's some clear coat coming through. I think it's going to end up looking good either way. Okay, I'm thinking of doing a trim delete on this truck, you know, trying to make things a little bit different, you know. If not, why not? And there goes the air compressor. It's still running. Okay, now, oh, those parts are a little bit close. Let's just move this a little bit further away. Okay. Alright, spray this up with white. And this paint can is empty. And that is just Murphy's Law. Is it? Or... oh, wait a second. I think we just maybe went too far away from the compressor. Okay, that's probably what's going on. Alright, well, let's bring the compressor closer then. I think that is a solution to that part of the issue. Alright, well, let's put this over here, right by the thing we are painting, and then we'll bring the tailgate over here then. Alright, so let's continue painting this thing white. And that is looking pretty gnarly. Well, not really gnarly. Gnarly is a bad thing. It looks pretty white, like in your face white, guys. But I don't know if I'm making a mistake with this, but as I said, if it fails, it fails. If it's something we have to redo, we'll redo it. But oh no, come on, I didn't mean to take that thing off. Come on, just go back on there. There we go. Alright, let's quickly blast this tailgate with some white paint, guys, and then I think we should pretty much wrap up this episode, because it is getting a little bit too long, because I'm just trying to push in a couple more things in an episode now. We've got so many projects going on here. I think this is good enough. We've got everything painted white that needs to be white. This is white as well, looking pretty good. Alright, I don't think there's any parts we missed. It looks decent, but you all know me, guys. I always check everything off camera again, and also when I'm editing videos I usually check and see if I made any mistakes. So yeah, there we go. We did spend a little bit of time on our truck as well today. It is already almost 7 p.m. at night, so I guess Uncle Bill would probably be passing here anytime soon when he's coming back from the office over in Middletown. But I think we are going to end this episode right over here. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate every view, every like. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because that way I will see you all in the next one. So cheerio for now.